Welcome back to round 3. Let me see here. This hand has turn 1 discard, turn 2 threat, and if we get lucky, a turn 3 Liliana. It's a good hand. I wish that forest was a Blooming Marsh, but let's see how we go. Alright. Burn. Okay, that was a pretty good draw, especially since it allows us to play Liliana on curve. One bad thing about Grim Flayer in the situation is he's a lot easier to kill as opposed to Tarmogoyf. Knowing that we have 4 lands with the Siege Rhino in hand, I'm pretty content. Let me see here. Searing Blaze would be a blowout against my Grim Flayer. Eidolon will hurt quite a bit. My opponent will be probably next turn playing a land and most likely dropping Eidolon. If I want to ensure that Grim Flayer survives, well, I can't. Probably take the Searing Blaze and force them to either use Lavamancer or Helix on him. Kind of like that line. If they do drop the Revel, I will get shocked. 2 for Flayer and then 2 more for Liliana. I'm not a huge fan of that. Take the Blaze. Good burn pilots maximize their mana, so they spend every single mana every single turn. Actually, good Magic players in general try to do that. So I'd be really surprised if my opponent plays Grim Lavamancer here. If they do, that would signal to me that they drew a burn spell. But no, exactly what I thought. Eidolon. If I play Flayer, I'll be at 16. Helix. I think it's still the best bet. Sacrificial fodder here. They're most likely helixing Flayer and swinging in for 4. Yep. I'll be at 12. Now my options here are play Liliana of the Veil, go down to 10, Edict, kill their Swiftspear, and then next turn untap, play Rhino, go up to 13 minus whatever damage they dealt. Let's say it's... I think I have to drop the Liliana. She can soak up some damage. Nice thing about Abzan Traverse, which I'm highlighting a little bit right here, is you can run entirely off of just your basic lands. Every spell in the deck can be cast off of my mana base here. My opponent does have a decision to make. If they kept the Swiftspear, that meant to me that they were worried about burning themselves out, which there's no reason for them to be worried about that. If they kept the Eidolon, it means that they realize that I'm at 9 life and a couple burn spells away from my own defeat. I hope my opponent does not attack Liliana of the Veil, so I can try to get extra leverage out of her. Bolt me. Sure. So I'll be at 4 life. 7 after Rhino. Okay. I was hoping she lived, but my opponent recognized that she's pretty good in this from the spot that I'm in right now. Siege Rhino is able to do right now what Grim Flayer couldn't, and that's hold down the fort. Of course, their Grim Lavamancer is going to be able to keep pestering me in my life total. I am not favored to win from this current position. I think I have Abrupt Decay, which will put me at 7 life. If I kill the Eidolon, I'll be at 5 life from the Lavamancer activation. If they have a Bolt untapped, they kill me. I can't see any other way for me to survive unless I kill Eidolon with the hand I have right now. I could try to wait it out, but the Grim Lavamancer will eventually deal too much damage to me. If I kill Grim Lavamancer, I'll be at 7/5 after the Eidolon trigger and their activation. If they have a Bolt, I'll be at 3 and I'll be dead. Don't think I can win this from the spot I'm in right now. Okay. Campbell is a fantastic card here. Unfortunately, I did cut down a little bit on the burn hate in the sideboard. You can see I don't have any extra copies of Collective Brutality because I haven't been seeing too much burn recently. Reclamation Sage is a possibility. A lot of burn decks have been bringing in Ensnaring Bridge, and some even bring in Rest in Peace. And Reclamation Sage is great against both those. Best opening possible for me against burn would include some number of Mishra's Bauble, some Blooming Marsh, a Tarmogoyf, Inquisitions, and at least 1 Fatal Push. Bad cards in this matchup are Thoughtseize, which pretty much just come out no matter what. Potentially Liliana the Veils. I'm not a big fan of Last Hope here. I think she's strictly worse than anything else I do have. You can see my sideboard is severely limited for burn. I don't have too much here. Been seeing a lot more Tron and a lot more blue-white control recently in the open queues. Fulminator Mage is also a possibility. I like being able to knock them off white if I can. It's also extra fuel for Scavenging Ooze. That's a strategy I usually employ more in decks that have Noble Hierarch in them because they can take advantage of that extra green mana. Be a little bit faster as well. Oh. Cletus. There's nothing else here that I would want. With Abrupt Decay and Fatal Push, that's 6 answers, but they have a more... Sometimes I do trim removal against burn, maybe like the Path Exiles. I don't really like Fetch Shocking turn 1 anyway. And I rarely do have white available turn 1. But they did have a lot of creatures with the Eidolons. I'm guessing they have Goblin Guides and Swift Spears, so this could be a slightly more creature-heavy version. In that case, I'll keep the extra removal spells. Cannot keep a one-land hand. I just said I can't keep a one-land hand, but this this is a one-land hand where I can cast every spell in my hand. Unfortunately, that is a Godless Shrine on an Overgrown Tomb, or even better, a Blooming Marsh. But I will keep this hand. Really need more land. It's a pretty good hand. 1 mana. They're not drawing a mana. So I'm not as worried about the spells that cost 2. 1 creature, and I have a removal spell for it. Granted, it will shock me to do that. I do think Searing Blaze is the single most powerful card they have right there in that hand. Perfect draw. Makes me wish I got out of the Path to Exile, but let's see how they fetch shock here. Okay. Another Eidolon. Great, they'll be stuck at 1 land. Maybe I will be too. Nope, alright. So still cannot cast any of my creatures, but at least I did draw a land. I think I go to 9 here, just to clear the way for Tarmogoyf and to make him very, very large. I'm at 9 life. These two would put me at 3 life. I really want to take the other Eidolon, but I have to take the Helix here, which is their card that they have, which lets them race me. Other consideration was taking the Skullcrack when I have a Shambling Vent in play, but I still need to draw another land. Helix also kills Shambling Vent, so there we go. Good clock. Got a little lucky drawing that Windswept Heath. But that's all we need sometimes against Barney. You just need them to stumble a little bit. This matchup I also generally put is slightly favorable. I usually do have another anti-burn card in my deck. My 75, usually another second Collective Brutality. Don't have that right here. While I wait for my opponent, I will be right back. This is the dangerous game against burn when you were on the draw and hoping not to stumble. They sometimes have just opens that just can wipe you out. Double Goblin Guide, triple Goblin Guide, things like that, you can just easily get run over. What I have found, though, is I actually think opponents over sideboard against Green-Black X decks. Yes, Rest in Peace is good against us, but it's not so good where you should sacrifice the rest of everything you have. Burn needs 7 spells to win the game. Rest in Peace does not count as one of those. Turn 1 discard. Potentially, I could even do a turn 2 Walking Ballista if I wanted, or I could, if I draw a Grim Flayer, get an extra creature type in the bin by casting Ballista for 0. I think I keep this. It's not my favorite. I would really love to have a sideboard card in this matchup. Hopefully Traverse can grab me something there. Goblin Guide, please get me a land. Okay. Opponent's plan is probably a turn 2 Rest in Peace, which would shut down my Traverse and any future Tarmogoyfs. But their hand here is aggressive enough where if they drop a turn 2 Rest in Peace, I might be happy with that. Traverse could fetch me up that extra land I need for Rhino. I'm at 17 life. I'm about to take 2 more, so I'm at 15. Minus 6 here, that's 9. If I take the Rest in Peace, next turn I can cast Walking Ballista for 0. I'll have 3 creature types. It's still not enough for Traverse. Still too slow. I don't have any answer for these Goblin Guides. I think I need to stop them from that. Sure. I now have 4 mana, so I can cast Rhino on curve. I want to deal as little damage to myself as possible here. So the correct play could just be Overgrown Tomb tapped, because next turn I want Liliana to edict that guide or cast Souls to start chump blocking. Although for that, I can always just get that Marsh Flats. Walking Ballista could save me some life. He could effectively be pay 2 mana, deal 1 damage, gain 2 life. I don't really love that. But it is the best use of my mana. Like I said, just to beat burn, sometimes they just need a little hiccup. My opponent actually helped us a little bit by time walking themselves with that Rest in Peace, which so far hasn't done anything against us. Our hand doesn't have Tarmogoyf, it doesn't have Grim Flayer. Our hand has Siege Rhino, which is our best counter to Rest in Peace. Still no have 7 damage. I'm functionally at 8. Is it worth losing Walking Ballista? Functionally at 8. I do not want to go to 6. So I will block. Kalitas is a fantastic draw, especially with Siege Rhino to start. You can eat the Path to Exile where Kalitas follows up. My play here is fetch a basic Swamp. Again, you can see I am operating almost entirely off of basic lands. Next turn I can fetch a basic Forest and cast Kalitas or Rhino. I still really do believe that burn players tend to over sideboard. If it wasn't for that Rest in Peace, if that was just a Lava Spike, I would be at 7 life when they still have 4 cards in hand. That is a big, big difference from where I am right now. Traverse does absolutely nothing when I have all my basics out under a Rest in Peace. That's the worst card in my deck right now. Skullcrack would be bad. Doesn't happen. Path to Exile would be bad, but I do have that Kalitas' follow-up. Could just be dead, though. Gonna have to get lucky and fade any sort of burn spell. Luckily we're protected from creatures. But if we fade that burn spell, I think we win this. Okay. Well, that is probably the worst thing that could have happened right there. Means we have to fade another burn spell. Lady Luck. Okay. We dodged another. Let's see. Clockwise, does it make sense to do anything special here? If we dodge another burn spell, we can win this game. If I attack now, if they block, they will take 4, go down to 3. I don't see any difference there, so I might as well just attack first. I don't see any difference between them going to 1 and them going to 3. Can I fade one more burn spell? Alright, so we got a little lucky against burn, which you need to. That said, I still think they over-sideboarded that Rest in Peace. If that was a burn spell, if that Rest in Peace was a burn spell, we would have absolutely been dead. If that Path to Exile was a burn spell, we would have been dead. Burn players out there, you're probably over-sideboarding. Your deck needs to play 7 cards. I know that Tarmogoyf is scary. I know that Tarmogoyf will wall you off and win games just by himself sometimes. But if either one of those sideboarded cards was a Lightning Bolt, a Lava Axe, a Rift Bolt, we'd have been dead. Anyways, thanks for watching. 3-0, and I'll see you in round 4.